I'm not going to hype this up as the next miracle gadget, I'm just going to walk through what this Rheem RTGH 95DVLN 3 actually does for a typical household, where the money really goes, and whether it's a safe bet for your home. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you're staring at a wall of specs and wondering if a tankless water heater will finally solve those cold shower moments, the biggest hesitation usually comes from three places: the upfront cost, the complexity of the install, and the fear of ending up with a unit that can't keep up with your family's demand. First, let's talk about the category itself. A natural gas tankless water heater replaces the traditional storage tank with a heat exchanger that fires only when you need hot water. The promise is endless hot water and higher efficiency because you're not constantly heating a big tank of water that sits idle. In practice, that means you'll see a lower gas bill if the unit runs efficiently, and you'll free up the space where a bulky tank used to sit. The downside is that the system has to be sized correctly for your peak usage, and it needs a proper vent for the exhaust and condensation. If any of those pieces are off, you could end up with a heater that trips, leaks, or just won't hit the temperature you set. Rheem's RTGH 95DVLN 3 lands in the higher end of the residential market. It's rated for 9.5 gallons per minute, which, according to Rheem's own data, can comfortably handle 3 to 4 simultaneous showers. The unit runs on natural gas, delivers 199,900 BTU, and uses a 120-volt digital control that lets you fine-tune the temperature to within a degree. What really sets it apart is the condensing technology, pushing the uniform energy factor up to 0.93. In plain English, that's about a 78% efficiency boost over a non-condensing model, meaning less gas is burned for the same amount of hot water. Now, who actually benefits from those numbers? If you have a household of 4 or more, especially one with 2 or 3 bathrooms, you'll notice the difference the moment the first person steps into the shower and the second one follows a minute later. The water stays hot, there's no dip in pressure, and you won't hear the familiar hiss of a tank refilling. Families that run a dishwasher or washing machine while someone showers also get a smoother experience because the heater can keep the flow steady without cycling off and on. The stainless steel heat exchanger is designed to resist corrosion from the condensate, which is a real win in areas with hard water where a plain copper coil would eventually pit. On the flip side, the same performance can become a weakness if you're the sole occupant of a one-bedroom condo. The 9.5 GPM capacity is more than you'll ever need, and the unit may end up cycling very quickly between calls for hot water. Short cycles can wear out the gas valve faster than a properly sized smaller unit, and they also make the initial cost harder to justify. The price tag for the RTGH 95DVLN 3 is already higher than entry-level models, and you have to add professional installation, which for a condensing gas system usually runs between $800 and $1,200. That's not just labor, it's the need for a correctly sized gas line, a venting system that can handle the cooler exhaust gases, and a dedicated 120-volt circuit for the digital controller. Installation is where the risk of buying the wrong thing really shows up. The unit is CSA certified, which tells you it meets safety standards, but it also means you can't DIY it unless you're a licensed plumber or HVAC tech. The venting has to be made of stainless steel or PVC rated for condensate, and the manufacturer recommends a direct vent configuration that pulls fresh air from outside and exhausts directly out. If your home's gas line is undersized, you'll need to upgrade it, adding another line item to the bill. In colder climates, the incoming water temperature can drop low enough that even a 9.5 GPM unit struggles to hit the set point without pushing the gas valve to its limit. Rheem's spec sheet mentions a cold water inlet temperature range, and if you're in a region where winter water is below 40 F, you might have to consider a larger unit or a supplemental point-of-use heater for the farthest tap. Maintenance is another practical point. Because the RTGH 95DVLN 3 is a condensing model, it produces condensate that is mildly acidic. The stainless steel interior resists corrosion, but you still need an annual flush to prevent mineral buildup, especially if you have hard water. The digital LED control is precise, which is great for families who like their showers at exactly 104 F, but it also means the